self-control. You see, self-control in a way is basically the opposite, not the opposite, but a lot of people get self-control and discipline sort of mixed up, and they think it's the same, but in reality it's not. Discipline is the action of doing something when you don't feel like doing it, while self-control in a way is the polar opposite, where it is actually not doing something even though you feel like doing it. Yes, this is the same day as it was last video. I'm just recording a couple videos today. By improving your self-control, it is one of, if not probably the most important thing you can do to transforming your life. Because you can have discipline, miles and miles of discipline, right? You can do all the good habits you want to do. But if you can't stop yourself from doing bad habits, you're not going to go nearly as far as you'd like to. And so what this means is one of the most important things you can do for your self-improvement journey is improving your self-control. And so how can you do that? How can you improve your self-control? Because without it, you cannot stop yourself from doing bad habits. Your life is just, one bad habit after the other. You're just can't control your desire to, do whatever you want and just, I don't know, whatever. So this is how you can improve your self-control. I have a step for you to take, and that is to basically, literally, grab a piece of paper right now, or open your notes app on your phone or Word document, whatever, and just write down what are bad habits that I have that I need to quit. Write these down, and once you can pause the video and hopefully you go do that. So if you have made this list, what I want you to do is pick the bad habit that you want to quit the most. Pick the one that is controlling your life the most. Normally, I'd tell you to pick the one that would be easiest to get rid of, the one that would be easiest to stop. But the reason I'm telling you to pick the worst one is because it has the most profound effect on your life, and this is how you can improve yourself the most. So, pick the one that affects your life the most. And then once you've done that, I'm going to basically give you a step-by-step plan on how to eliminate this bad habit, depending on what it is. So if your bad habit is something like doing drugs, or drinking, or smoking, or whatever addiction you have, just something that you do that you really don't want to do anymore. Rather than cold turkey and getting rid of it all at once, instead, basically, you're going to taper yourself off of it. Because the reason you have this addiction is because your brain gets a chemical called dopamine from doing this habit. And your brain loves dopamine. It's the chemical that gives you motivation and pleasure to do this thing again. And so, whatever your bad habit might be, you have to train your mind to no longer crave the dopamine that you get from this bad habit. What this is also going to do is it's also going to level up your self-control, because if you've ever been to the gym And if it's your first time in the gym, you can't just walk into the gym and expect to bench press 215 pounds. You can't do that. You can't bench press 215 on your first day in the gym. You have to start out with a light weight, sometimes even just the bar or less than the bar, depending on how much of a beginner you are. And slowly add more weight and slowly level up from there. But if you're the guy who just goes in, tries to bench 215, fails, and goes, the gym is not for me, I can't do this anymore, then he's never going to make any progress. Or if he's stubborn, he's just going to keep trying day after day after day after day, trying to bench 215, and he's never going to get there because it's too heavy. He's not strong enough. So you can apply the same logic to your self-control. So whatever bad habit you have, rather than trying to say, see, I like the idea of days, like how many consecutive days you have done this bad habit, or how many times per month, because a lot of people, and there's a fine line with this, because there's two types of people who give similar advice to how to get rid of a bad habit. One of them is, slowly tapering it down like I am, or the other one is the idea of the streak. And so I believe that they both have their place, but the problem with the streak is that it actually ends up making you just weirdly obsessed over this bad habit, which ends up making it worse. And so the streak is basically you cold turkey and see how long you can make it before you relapse on your bad habit. And so you have this streak of days, of time, of not doing your bad habit. And then after you mess up, you start over again and you see how long you can go. Mess up, see how long you can go, mess up. And every time you stretch this streak, you want the streak to get 1 to 2 days longer each time. The other way you can do this is think of it as how many days per week am I going to allow myself to do this bad habit. And so I would literally pick a day of, okay, this is the day that I'm going to eat junk food. I'm going to allow myself to drink a bunch of soda, eat a bunch of cake, all that stuff, eat a bunch of junk food on this day. So whether it be like Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday, those are the days that you will allow yourself to eat junk food. And then after 2 weeks of this, a lot of people would want to do after 1 week. I recommend doing 2 weeks. It's slower, but this is much more effective. So after 2 weeks of this, instead of eating junk food on, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, or however you want to do it, only be able to eat junk food on Saturday and Wednesday. So you have a longer stretch of time that you have to basically force yourself to not eat junk food. And so every time you do this, you are leveling up the amount of self-control that you have to implement in your life. And so a lot of people, they might not even be able to do this. You might not be at that level yet. And that's okay. So if you're not at the level of being able to go multiple days without doing your bad habit, I would recommend literally going hours. So if you are like severely addicted to alcohol or vaping or smoking, and you're drinking or smoking like literally multiple times a day throughout the day, make a rule of I can't do this until noon. And you do that every day. And then after about a week, say I can't do this until the evening. When I'm done with work and when I'm done with school, I can't do this. And then say I can't. You're basically just going to slowly make more and more rules for yourself. And so rather than saying, all right, I can't do this anymore, you're saying, I can only do this at this time in my life. And then you're going to get to the point where if you have a drinking problem, you're only having 1 or 2 drinks a day, which still is not perfect, which still is not great, but it's way, way better than it would be if you would just kept trying to do cold turkey, and you never make it. And so once you get to about where you're barely even doing this habit, like once a week, that is an enormous amount of progress. But if you truly want to cut out this bad habit from your life, if you can get it to literally once a month, that's almost perfect. If it's not like a really bad habit, like doing, drugs and cocaine and all sorts of horrible things. If you can get this down to once a month, I think that is pretty much perfect. So if you're going to smoke once a month, of course it would be better if you can cut it out of your life completely, but I understand if that's as far as you are willing to go. And that is how you can level up your self-control. It's not about some, mind-breaking new technique of, instantly cutting out all your bad habits and having so much self-control that you can, infinite levels of self-control where you can you have no temptations whatsoever to do a bad habit, because there's always going to be temptations. Instead, it's about slowly removing the bad habits, slowly leveling up your self-control. It's like adding weight to the bar in the gym. And so the more weight you add in the gym, the stronger you will get. And the stronger your self-control will be, the more you level it up. That's all I got for today. May God bless you and stay wild.